So, tell the story.
Well, we have, like, with this COVID and the lockdown going on there, if you go from Victoria, you can't travel. If you do travel, you've got to say where you've been, and then you go into quarantine. 2 girls from Melbourne, they went there to steal handbags to begin with, so they're criminals. They look like, if you look at them, they look like Kardashian rejects. If you find a photo of them, they look like Kardashian rejects. They got all the lip filler and, look fucking weird. Yeah, but they went all the way to Queensland with the virus and spread it and lied and this sort of stuff.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to travel from Victoria to Queensland.
Yeah, and they went from Victoria, Sydney, then Sydney, Queensland, and lied about where they'd been and stuff. They get found out. I think they might have to pay fines and that, but they're on TV, on the news, everyone's going mad about them. So their mother goes on a show, but then their brother was on A Current Affair last night, and guess what? Back there, he's swearing all the time, so they're beeping him out. But he's saying, you're only going on about this because they're black. If this was white girls, it wouldn't be an issue. And it's like, half the people who heard about it hadn't even seen them. No one saw photos of them, so what I heard was the story. They're breaking the law, doing what they're doing. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, brindle, fucking purple, blue, whatever. You're breaking the law. But they're throwing the race card out now because they're black. This is what happened. I'm like, they're the only first 2 thing of black I've seen on the news. Everyone else has been breaking the COVID laws, have been white people, and they get treated exactly the same on the TV, on the news. They're being arrested the same. So this whole race card thing is getting a bit old. It's like time to fucking put that card back in the deck, and you're being arrested and you're being caught and in trouble because you broke the fucking law. It's as simple as that. So it's just crazy. This day and age too, it's sometimes, some people of certain ethnic background and some people of certain colour, it's actually got a bit easier because this day and age people are actually scared to do something. They're scared to arrest you. They're scared to pull you up because you are going to throw out, it's because I'm this, isn't it? Because I'm that. So sometimes you actually get away with a bit more because people are scared to fucking do something.
Well, we know like a few police and stuff, obviously buying gym equipment. And it's exactly true. It's actually the other way around as far as if a white person or an Aboriginal or an Indigenous person was committing the same crime, they'll get the white person over the Indigenous because they know if they put the time in, doing all the paperwork, going to court with the Indigenous,
they get thrown out or something.
Yeah, that they'll likely get let out. So it's like, what's the point of doing all the work? Whereas they'll do the other. So it's actually the other way.
But it's always go on those ride-alongs. Even here in Australia, you'll see it. You'll see like a young white kid being an asshole, and the cop will grab him, and if he tries to resist, the cop gets heavy-handed, throws him on the ground. And if it's a white cop or whatever cop, Asian, and he throws a white kid on the ground, nothing's ever said about it. It's just like, oh, that kid's playing up. But they had that one not long ago where the kid was being smart to the copper, and he's like, I'll punch you in the mouth, and the cop sweeps his legs and the kid hits the ground. Because he's Aboriginal, there's an inquiry, the cop's put off work, it's this, it's that. He's a racist cop. They go through his history. He hasn't had one thing of racism in his history, but if you're white arresting a black person now, and if you somehow...
I feel sorry for the police.
It's like if you're somehow a little bit heavy-handed, you're a racist. It's like, I'm just doing my job. And like I said, I'd see it all the time in America, even living down in Venice. I see black officers get black kids and slam them against the wall and throw them down on the ground. I said, what do you think's going to happen? Say someone films that, 2 black police officers manhandling a black young kid really rough. We film it, okay. Then all of a sudden there's 2 white cops doing it to a black kid. Which one do you think's going to get on the news? The one that's going to cause this outrage, and they're going to call these police officers racist and stuff, and they're not racist, they're just doing their job. And people have to realise too, whether someone's resisting, and if you're a little bit crazy or you're on drugs, you can be 150 pounds, but it sometimes takes a lot of strength to hold them down. And
especially on ice.
Yeah. It's like they don't think they're just going to be like, oh, can you put your hands behind your back? It doesn't happen that way. So it's just this whole now they want to defund the police and stuff.
We'll talk about that one later, but back to that arrest of that young Indigenous boy. His parents were complaining, or auntie or uncle, if my son if my son said
Spoke that-
what he said to a police,
I'd be like, you got what you deserved.
no, I'd be going and shaking his hand
Exactly.
because what he actually did was he actually saved that. If that guy had have struck at an officer, he would have been.
Because he was
serious-
telling the cop, I'll break your fucking jaw, I'll
and
do
a
this.
female copper,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when people were complaining about it. It's like, how if my daughter was a policeman,
and they said he's known to the police.
policewoman.
He's known to the police too, so he's always been getting into trouble. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of these people too. When it's like there was something the other day on, some kid got arrested, and it's just a similar thing where they're trying to go mad at the cops, but the kid was 13 years old, 2 a.m. in the morning. It's like, why is your kid out at fucking 2 a.m. in the morning? You got to start. I think some of the parents have got to be blamed here, and also because the kid under a certain age can't be charged, start charging the fucking parents.
Yeah.
Would never be allowed out at fucking 2 a.m. in the morning. If you're out at that time, you're up to no bloody good. It's like, you know. And in my day, it's like the cop would boot you in the arse and take you home.
Yeah,
But now it's like a cop stand. If they do, damn if they don't. There's a funny video. I'll try to find it. It's in America. You know, with this whole defund the police. They need this store, and these people are starting to loot the store. They got these fuck the police signs, defund the police. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the store owner comes out of a chainsaw. The guy with the fuck the police, call the police, call the police.
Yeah. No, we'll discuss defund the police. That's
I'm
one
like,
of the biggest jokes
and what
ever.
gets me, how could you defund the police? Because look at the riots that were happening with the police there. Right in front of the police, you got people looting shops.
That's a separate video.
Could you imagine what they'd do if there was no police?
But my heart goes out to look. There's
And can you imagine some of those cops too? It's like they're going to do their job the best they can. Yes, you're going to have a bad cop here and there. There's bad people in everything.
every profession.
Every profession, whether it just be someone that owns a store or fucking whatever, bus drivers, fucking, you're going to get an arsehole.
Bodybuilders.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be arsehole everywhere, but that, you can't say every. That'd be like saying, okay, because you don't like it when people stereotype you. Okay, if these two black guys hold people up and rob places, then every black person's bad. Well, that's what you're saying about the cops. You're saying because this arsehole cop was holding that guy down, he's being a racist, whatever you want to call it.
No, that's another video.
Now you've just made every cop the same as him. That's what, and you don't like it when someone goes, "Oh, well, you black people are the same because one's a carjacker and one's this and that." You don't like it, so don't do it to the cops. There's fucking bad people everywhere. So, it's just crazy. And the thing is too, they get put on leave or they lose their job. And like I said, if it's a different person of a different race or ethnic background, you're racist straight away. You're racist. You want to have a racist. But there's one cop I remember, they tried to make out he was racist, and when they interviewed him, his wife was black, his kids are all black, so it's like...
Oh, so he definitely hated black people.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like, really, people? It's just, really? It's like, they've got no clue. And then that's like when you watch those riots on TV, and you got these protesters who are white, saying Black Lives Matter, and they're yelling at the cops, "You're racist, this and that." There's one woman who's white yelling at one cop saying, "Look at your big fat nose," yelling at a black cop calling him racist. I'm like, how can you stand there calling the black cops racist just because one bad cop might have been racist, but he's a black officer. I'm sure through his younger years he's probably experienced racism or something through his life. He's doing his job, and because he's doing his job, you're calling him racist.
No, not even that. It's like
do they actually know the meaning of the word racism? It's just like they're just throwing it out there now.
No, I think it's ironic that there's a guy that is from a group which you're saying is oppressed or discriminated against. He's risen up, got a really, really important job in the community as a policeman. Having black police is exactly what would.
That's what you'd want, wouldn't you?
Yeah, which would solve racism, any perceived racism in the police.
I think they had a thing, I think the LAPD, I think the minority of police are white there. It's more African American, Latinos and Asian. Yeah. So you can't say the police force is racist. But then some of these cities too, like say Detroit, where they're saying they've got all these problems and the racism, it'll be like the mayor of the town's black, the district attorney's black, the chief police is black, so everyone in a position of power who oversees this town that you're calling people racist, they're all black, so they should be fixing the problem. You had a black president.
No,
What did he
that's what
do?
I was just going to say. Yeah,
He didn't do anything, did he?
they voted in a like how racist can America be when they voted a half African American. No, well, yeah, he was he was a genuine African American, and his dad was.
This is what I always question too. I had a friend right from Africa, and he's white. Him and his wife moved to America. They got their green card, but after their green card, they became citizens. So now they have dual passport. So he's white from Africa. Now he's living in America, got a citizenship. So technically, wouldn't he be African American?
A real African American.
But he's white.
Yeah.
So he can put down African American, could he? Because I guess that you have to be black to be African American. But he's actually been there. And that's the thing too, when these people say, we don't like America, fuck America, you know, burning the flag. I like to get those people, you know, you can always say, well, fucking leave, because then they say, oh, that's racist saying that. No, it's not, because you don't realise how good you got it. None of these people, I'm sure, I've travelled the world, and I'm sure these people have never left their own little country or their little state they live in. Have they ever been to a third world country and seen how fucking bad it is? No internet, walk to the river to get water. How shitty one of these countries are. It's like, here complaining about America, saying all this shit, go live in one of those, they wouldn't last a week or two. Doing half the shit they do in America, if you tried that in another country, you'd be fucking killed or locked up. You wouldn't be able to pull that shit anywhere else. So they don't realise how good they got it in America, yet they're bitching and complaining. Send them overseas to a country and really see what it's like to live in one of those countries. It's like, they're fucking just crazy.
No, it's really sad to see. I feel sorry for Americans in general to see the country just get torn apart, and I hope.
Well, look at some of the big cities now in like Minneapolis, and some when I was up in, was it Seattle, where they had their own little community.
We'll talk about that. But,
that went well, didn't it?
But you know, I guess I'd like to end this by just saying, you know,
I just want to say the majority of people really are good.
Yeah.
Majority of people get up, go to work, try and make a good living for their family and that, pay their bills.
Yeah.
If they come across someone of a different race or whatever, I'm sure everyone's good. Hi, how you going? They're polite. Yeah, you're going to get an arsehole here and there, but it's very few and far between. So it's not like, you know, everyone gets on good, but it's like, there are always just those little groups that like to keep the divide going and keep the hate going and stuff like that. It's just, like I said, it's just like Big Pharma wanting to keep disease going, because that's how they make their living, how they